The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
New York Jets just wrapped up a joint practice with the Washington Commanders, and joining us is someone who was out there in the rain for all of the Jets. Punter Thomas Morstead joins the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season.
There goes my hero.
Oh,
We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. And joining us right now, live from the Jets locker room in Florham Park, New Jersey, is Jets punter Thomas Morstead. Thomas, welcome back to the show, my man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
So for you, day like today, nasty weather, you're out there the whole time. What's the biggest thing you have to do as a punter to play in those type of conditions?
Catch the ball. That's the biggest thing. It's wet out there. It was really sloppy wet today. It was more than a drizzle. I mean, the rain was coming down pretty good. So, but everybody has to adjust in that weather. It's just a different game.
When you get a joint practice, I mean, does it, I know for, maybe an offensive or defensive player, it's different because you're actually hitting someone that's, wearing a different color jersey. What's it like for a special teams player like you, a specialist, to be a part of a joint practice?
Every team's different, but I mean, I'm buddies with Tressway, getting to see people that, their long snapper, as well, I'm buddies with. So it's just, it's cool to catch up with guys, see how they're doing that you've admired, throughout their career, and, talk a little shop and, see how the families are doing. So, it's a different experience for the specialist than it is for everybody else. That's for sure.
No doubt. I certainly want to talk about just your experience with some of the new rules the NFL, of course, is implementing with the kickoff and get your perspective. But we had to have you on because earlier this week, you made an awesome announcement. I want you to share it with all the Jet fans out there. You partnered up with Team Gleason, the Team Gleason Foundation, to launch Punt for ALS campaign. I know Steve Gleason, someone you know incredibly well. So can you talk about the importance of this and what exactly you're doing with the Team Gleason Foundation?
Yeah, I mean, really the crux behind it is, Steve's meant a lot to me personally. He's provided a lot of perspective and inspiration and gratitude, and I've just learned a lot from him and watched him on his journey throughout his life-changing diagnosis of ALS. And I've seen kind of the transformation over time, and I just wanted to do something to thank him for saying yes to living with this disease and really putting all of his energy into changing the lives of people that also end up getting the diagnosis. So he's, for me, it's just a personal thing. I want to do something to thank him and inspire him and encourage him to keep going. And, really the job is to highlight all that Team Gleason does and why it's important. They're known for providing technology to people so they can continue to communicate. That's just one aspect. They have an adventure program sending patients with ALS and their families to do kind of cool adventures all over the country. They've been instrumental in getting the Steve Gleason Act passed, getting a lot of this stuff was never covered by insurance, and now it is covered by insurance so that people can continue to communicate and stay connected to family, friends, and be productive. And, if you can't communicate with other people, that's really, I don't know, it's hard to still be a human being if you can't connect with people. So they just do so much good stuff, and they're helping so many families. And I've seen it firsthand with a close family friend of mine that was diagnosed, and I've just seen the resource and the blessing they are in people. And I just want to highlight it, say thank you to Steve, and have a little skin in the game personally to encourage other people to jump on board as well. So
you could join Thomas as part of the Punt for ALS campaign, and we should mention this too because this is awesome. You're committing to donating $1,000 for every punt that you have inside the 20-yard line this season, with a minimum pledge of $10,000. And I like the minimum pledge idea, because I'm hoping with Aaron back, Thomas, that you're not going to be punting as much as you had to last year. As great as you were, and we appreciated everything you did, as Jet fans, we're hoping that you don't need to be used as much as you did last year. So we like the idea of just there's $10,000 no matter what happens going to an amazing cause.
Yeah, look, I want it. It's really important that people know that I have skin in the game, and that this is an important thing that's for me. I don't want to just say, hey, go give of your time or your money to this organization and not have any skin in the game. So I think that was really the crux of that. And yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at my kind of historical averages, I feel like if we can, I'm going to put my over under at 65 punts this year, and my over under on punts inside the 20 at 27. So that's kind of my expectation. If I play throughout the whole season, that's my line I'm setting. So we'll see.
For you coming into this training camp, what to you has really stood out about this team? Does it feel like kind of like deja vu all over again with all the excitement with Aaron Rodgers, or has that maybe kind of worn off and it's like, okay, last year happened and now it's a new year and it maybe feels different than all the hoopla that surrounded this team a year ago?
I mean, I think the hoopla is definitely a little less. We're not on Hard Knocks. There's still a genuine excitement, but every team's different. So, your team chemistry is different every year. Even though there's a lot of continuity coming back, it's just different every year. So you have to kind of still kind of grow into who you are as a team and what your culture is going to be. And every year you just have new people. So it's going to be different. The dynamics are different, and you have to go out and kind of set the foundation and go down the road to see who you're going to become. But yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's one of the reasons I'm back, is you want to have a chance to do something special. And I feel like we have that chance here.
When you look at, some of the pieces that were brought back, I thought it was paramount that you being brought back and Greg Zuerlein being a part of this as well. Your thoughts on just the continuity there, because I know even Aaron Rodgers talked about it this offseason, how the importance of bringing you two back was really high on his list as well of things he wanted to see the Jets do. And they, of course, did that.
Yeah, I think, continuity is big for special. It's big for any position, really. But, you look at the really good specialists year in, year out. They typically the same long snapper, same punter, and same kicker. And they just kind of, not that you just pick up where you left off, but you're kind of, there's already a trust that's built in there. There's just a lot of time on task together. And, you can't just show up and punch the time clock, and you still got to be present, still got to continue to work to get better, trying new things, all those things. So, but I think continuity is huge in this league, and I think you have three specialists and a special teams coach who understands that, and it was cool that they were kind of able to make us all a priority and get us all back together.
Thomas Hennessy is the long snapper. He's the longest tenured Jet on this team. He's been with them since 2017. That's either 3 or 4 coaches by my math, head coaches that he's been through. Just your thoughts on him. I feel like he doesn't obviously get a lot of praise playing that position, of course, but you talked about the continuity there. Long snapper is a big part of that, Thomas. Your thoughts on Thomas Hennessy?
100%. And I don't think he's looking for any praise. I think he's happy to just do his job, and he knows how appreciated he is here. And I think that's all that matters for any of us, is that our teammates and and the people in this building appreciate us. So, look, he's become a really good friend of mine, and I really enjoy our friendship outside of football as well. We have some similar interests, and we like discussing all together. So, it's good. It's a good deal. It's cool to see him with a young budding family. And I remember when I was kind of at his stage and just seeing him, he knows what he's going for in life and what he's looking for. And to see him building that is really cool to see.
For you personally, as we talk, of course, with Thomas Morstead, Pro Bowl punter, and probably your signature moment, Thomas, the surprise onside kick in the Super Bowl when you were with the Saints, seeing the new rules, how that play no longer can exist. You can't do the surprise onside kick anymore. What was your reaction when you found out that was coming to the game this year?
I was, I hate to say I was surprised. I mean, they've been tinkering and talking about this for a while. I was disappointed the players didn't have more of a voice in it, but just the way it goes. The competition committee is going to do what they want to do. I do think it has a chance to be a better play. Hopefully there's less touchbacks, more football plays, more excitement, more kick returns, and hopefully less injuries. So I think if it does all those things, it's a net positive, and I'm rooting for that change to be a positive one.
To me, it's just sad that it needs to be the fourth quarter. You got to be trailing. Like I just wish there was some sort of element of surprise, which is what's so exciting about that play in the first place, right?
Yeah, I think it's silly that you're not able to take a risk in that way. So, but it's just what it is. So, there's nothing you can do about it. But I do think it's silly that you can't take a gamble at some point early in the game. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're changing. It seems like they're changing the little nuances of the rule every week during training camp as they get more tape on it and seeing, things that may not have thought about. So we'll see how it goes. I am optimistic that it'll be a net positive for the game itself. So that's good.
Your thoughts on how the punt team looks? Because I know the last time we talked, it was right after Justin Hardy had signed elsewhere, and we talked about Herb Charles getting an opportunity to maybe be, the top gunner on that unit working with you. Your thoughts on what you've seen from him and just the other guys out there on that unit?
Yeah, I mean, look, until you get into games and you start, competing full field reps, and going out and getting in the live bullets, there's a lot of people that look good before pads get put on. And then again, when you're doing individual drills and you're only going this far, or, time will tell. So I'm excited to see all the guys get opportunities in the preseason, to go out and show what they can do. It's as hard as the season, the training camp, end of training camp cuts are every year. It's equally as awesome seeing guys come out of nowhere that no one was expecting. Some guy goes and blocks a punt, or some guy springs a kickoff return for a touchdown, or a young gunner goes down and beats a vice and makes a tackle for a 2-yard return. Seeing guys go down and show what they can do and earn their opportunity. It's my favorite part of it. I kind of view it as, not that everybody's a walk-on here, but it's kind of like that walk-on that's finally getting a chance to go out, and it goes out and makes a play. And I've seen careers start that were unexpected and go for 8 years or 10 years or 12 years because of what they did in their rookie training camp. So I look forward to seeing all those guys compete and seeing what they do.
Before we wrap up, Thomas, I mean, anyone confusing you for Garrett Wilson? I mean, you had the number 5. Now you're rocking the number 6. Is there any confusion between you two on the practice field?
Listen, I can see where the mix-up comes. We are brothers. And we're family now. So, no, it is cool seeing so many people with 5 jerseys in the stands. I'm assuming that's from last season's really awesome performance by me. But it's cool. He was so excited to get the jersey, and I was excited to give it to him. So it's all good.
And for you going with the number 6, I mean, that's my era of Jets football I grew up with as far as success, the Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan era. So I don't want to put any pressure on you, Thomas, but number 6 does hold a special place in a lot of Jet fans my age.
Yeah, well, we did a little jersey swap last week, which was cool. Mark and I were the same draft class, so that was cool, and we kind of had a little fun with it because when I was down in Miami and I had the butt punt against the Bills, he had some viral tweet that said, yo, stay out of my lane, bro. So I said, hey, I'm definitely in your lane now. I got your jersey number. So it's all in good fun. It was cool to do that, and I'm glad to be back in my OG number 6 from all my years in New Orleans.
Well, we always love when you can join us, Thomas. One more time for people just tuning in. I know it's puntforals.org, but what is the biggest thing you want my audience to know about what you're doing with the Team Gleason Foundation?
Well, I'll be putting out all sorts of stuff throughout the season about the campaign. I'll probably wear some people out with it, so they'll be getting all the info. But yeah, check it out. We'll be doing weekly giveaways after every game with a lot of specialists and maybe some non-specialists throughout the season to get game-worn signed jerseys after each game as little incentives for people to donate week to week. So just stay tuned. It'll be good.
Well, there's a guy, he wears number 8. He's, he's around your age. I feel like maybe he could help you with some giveaways for stuff like that.
Listen, he's a little older than me. He's in his 40s now. I'm in my 30s. It's a way, way different stage there. So we'll see if I can convince him to throw a little swag our way.
Do you guys remember there was an incident in Las Vegas where a man attacked a Clark County judge? After this happened, I said, the guy in the video is actually a listener of the show. So not the guy who basically like Troy Polamalu'd over like the judge dais, but the guy that is a listener of the show is the hero who tried to immediately apprehend this wacko. And yesterday, Michael Lasso, the law clerk who helped protect the Clark County judge who was attacked in court last month, was named Citizen of the Month in Vegas. You could see our guy Michael Lasso on the left there. It's a pretty cool moment for Michael, who joins us right now. What's up, Michael?
How you doing, Jake? Good to see you.
Man, what's it like being a hero?
Oh my God, you know what I mean? It's so honestly, it's just so surreal and so humbling. Truly, I never expected it to be, on SNL and TikTok and Twitter. And
while I fly this way, right? Mm-hmm. The bailiff, he run behind me. He fall down. Look at him, man. That's terrible, man.
It's really just incredible, to be honest. And that leap that man did was pretty impressive. And I think that's part of the reason why that video has gone so crazy.
The guy, he timed the snap perfectly, right? Like, he did the full Troy Polamalu over the. What goes through your mind in real time as that's happening? Like, you even have time to think? Was it all just natural reaction? Kind of take us through what's happening there.
Yeah. Honestly, there's no time to think, for sure. The video doesn't even do it justice, just at how fast that actually occurred. 1 minute he's sitting there just talking about how, he'll accept whatever the judge is willing to give him. And then the next minute he's on top of the judge. So when he initially made a run, I thought, okay, he's going for the door. Last thing I thought he was going for the judge, and I definitely didn't think he was ever going to make contact. It was so nice to the mayor. It was so nice to the city. It was such an incredible experience. And when the mayor first called me, I answered the phone, and I'm thinking to myself, who is this? The mayor? Do you have the right number?
The video honestly doesn't even do it justice as to just how fast it really was. It went from just any normal day to just, honestly, just straight, havoc. It was in a blink of an eye, and there really wasn't much time to think. You just kind of react.
I remember when it happened, and the video was everywhere, and then you told me that was you, and I was like, what? No way. And I just I couldn't believe it, man.
I know. I wish I could have came on your show earlier, but obviously the sentencing was still going on. There were things in motion, so I just couldn't. But I really appreciate you giving me a chance and coming on here.
It's not every day that, a listener to the show is like a legitimate hero. That's pretty cool. What ended up happening? Was he sentenced? Where's the guy who, attacked you?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, he was given the sentence he was going to get originally. He's got new charges that he's facing, and that's going on in a different courtroom with a different judge, and we'll kind of see where that goes.
Can you believe that when they brought me back to court, they put a muzzle on me, man?
Yeah, probably for everybody's safety.
Man, I ain't bite nobody.
That's unbelievable, man. I love it. A Jet fan is a hero out in Las Vegas.
And those clips of Judge Allen, oh my God, those had me dead. Oh my God, those are the best things I've ever seen. I don't know. I just Gatorade. Those are incredible.
I believe you mean this right here.
I'd rather be the Jake Asman heel than the Robert Saleh truther any day of the week. But it's weird because I don't see myself as a heel. I think I'm a realist.
I don't want to hear none of that shit. You do not root for no damn New England to win shit.
Unbelievable.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Oh my God. Thank you again, Jake.
Michael, you're the man. Appreciate you joining the show, brother. We have the best audience.
We do have the best audience. Thank you to Thomas Morstead for joining the show. Good to catch up with him. We pre-taped the interview. As you can tell, I don't think Thomas Morstead is hanging out in the Jets locker room hours after the monsoon practice against the Commies ended earlier today. But great to catch up with Thomas for all the information that we discussed during the conversation. Make sure you visit the website that Thomas promoted, which for those who need it again, it's teamgleason.org. teamgleason.org. Check it out. Thomas Morstead doing awesome work with the Team Gleason Foundation. And there was a great comment I saw here as that interview was airing from John LG, who was nice enough to come to our great event last night in Jersey. G5 needs to match Morstead's donation. So if you remember the last time Thomas came on the show, I said, hey, you just gave up number 5 to Garrett, didn't ask for any money or nothing. He said, nah, he's a great kid. He wanted the number. I was happy to give it to him. That would be really cool if Garrett did that, right? G5 matches the donation that Thomas Morstead is making himself. That'd be awesome. And knowing Garrett the way I think we know him, Jet fans, I wouldn't be surprised if he does exactly that. For those who missed the first show today, I was out at Jets training camp for the joint practice between the Jets and the Commies. Gave you my takeaways during that show. We were joined by Andrew Fialco, so go back and watch the first show today if you did not catch it live. Also got a chance to catch up with both Garrett and Sauce after practice today. Also spoke with Morgan Moses and kind of relayed some of my conversations and insights I got from those guys on the first show. We will give you a normal show, though. But speaking of Garrett Wilson, we needed a G5 emoji for Garrett because he's about to have, I believe, one of the great seasons in the history of the Jets. I'll say it again. Garrett Wilson, to me, will go down as the best receiver this team has ever had. I said this last year, and I stand by it after watching him so far this summer. He was the best player by a wide margin on the field today. And let's remind everyone, Aaron Rodgers didn't practice today out of precaution because of the weather. Wet field, joint practice, and Garrett Wilson balled out. And Tyrod's a good quarterback. He's competent. That's all it took for Garrett Wilson to shine on this field. So in honor of G5, G-Dub, the next emoji is ready to roll. The Garrett Wilson emoji. New number, new uniform, and we need 34 members to do it. Why do we need 34 members? Because 1 from Terrence came in before the show, and 5 from M. King just dropped during the show, which means, folks, thanks to their donations, we're just 34 away from unlocking this awesome emoji. Let's go. If you hear your name called, you are a channel member. Mike Kopp, Matt West, me and my dog, Trial Trek family, and Jonathan Fernandez. Let's go. See if we can maybe get enough channel members added before the end of this stream so we can make that part of the rotation going forward. Before we get into some of your calls on the Gus Buster Umbrella hotline, I wanted to talk more about the decision made by the head coach, Robert Saleh, earlier today to sit Aaron Rodgers out for this joint practice. If you missed it, this was Saleh afterwards explaining the decision.
Was it an easy decision about Aaron?
Yeah. Woke up this morning, saw the weather. He's taken every rep in practice, and so I just felt like it's just unnecessary, heightened environment, unfamiliar foes in terms of taking care of one another. I just didn't want to expose him to it. If it was a game, if it was a practice, if it was clean outside, he would have practiced today. But call it over protection, but it's just a decision I made.
What was his reaction on that? Was he cool?
He pushed back. He won the go, but it's just not. It's not. In the grand scheme of things, we're trying to keep forward thinking with regards to week 1, and we got a long way for that, and he'll have other opportunities coming up with Carolina and the Giants.
Okay. Fair. I was there today, folks. It was nasty. And even though Saleh didn't say it in his answer there, I think part of his heightened concern for Rodgers is the fact that Joe Tippmann has had some issues this summer snapping the football. The last thing the Jets need is a high snap in a joint practice where it's a live period and Aaron Rodgers running after a wet ball on a wet field slips and injures himself. Last thing they need. Saleh didn't give that as a reason, but I think that was part of the decision making. Because remember, Tippmann had a couple bad snaps, Then he was fine. Then green and white scrimmage, heightened environment, had a bad snap. So I think that played into Salah's thinking. I also think, though, we should give credit to Joe Tippmann because he didn't have any issues today at all snapping the ball to Tyrod. So I don't think this is an issue. I think Salah is being truthful when he tells you the weather and a joint practice, not knowing the team you're playing. Hey, guys trying to make a roster, maybe trying to play with too much intensity, accidentally hit Aaron. I get it. I get it. I have no issue with the coach holding him out. That said, and I've said this all along, so I don't want credit for this. I just want to point out the fact that the media completely miscovered Salah's original quote when it came to Rodgers playing in the preseason. All Robert Saleh said was that Aaron was not playing in the first 2 preseason games. He never said he was not going to play in the Giants game. Because Aaron didn't play in this joint practice today, I think it's more likely than not that Aaron Rodgers will start against the Giants on August 24th. And I've said that all along. I think Aaron's going to want to play. And I don't think the Jets are going to tell Aaron Rodgers, you're not starting. If he says, Coach, I'd feel more comfortable going out there on Monday Night Football if I had at least a dry rehearsal like last year in the preseason against the Giants, you think Robert Saleh is going to tell Aaron Rodgers no? He could tell him no when it comes to a joint practice, when the field is wet and it's monsooning out there. That's different than Aaron saying, hey, I'm in my 17th year starting. You're 20 in the league. I feel like I need this coming off the injury. That's different. So Aaron Rodgers, I believe, will start against the Giants. That's just my prediction. And I've been pretty consistent with this for a while. I think he's going to want to play. I don't think he'll play a lot. I think it'll be like last year. And you could say, well, Jake, is that smart? Well, you know what? I'm not living my life in fear. Could he get hurt? For sure. But he played in it last year, looked great, and then got hurt on the 4th play of the actual regular season anyway. So I can't live life in fear. If Aaron says I need to play, then you play him. And the only player I wouldn't play in the preseason, if Aaron's going out there, is Tyron Smith. As long as Olu continues to look as solid as I believe he's looked so far, Olu could be the left tackle for the 2 drives Aaron plays in the preseason. Put the other 4 starters out there on the O-line. Put Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and Lazard out there. And do a true dress rehearsal for those 2 drives. You don't want to play Brees, you don't need to play Brees. All right, that's fine. Brees didn't play last year in the preseason. But other than, I guess, Tyron and Brees, if Aaron wants a dry rehearsal, he wants the dress rehearsal before the real thing on Monday Night Football, I understand it. This was Saleh earlier being asked once again about Rodgers potentially playing in that Giants game.
They're still open to the possibility of Aaron playing against the Giants, that finale?
And either way, like I said, we haven't had final decisions yet at all with regards to the 3rd game. You guys know me. The 3rd game is usually when we like to play our guys, and depending on how today went, how Saturday goes, and then next week's work with the Panthers and the following week with the Giants, I'll make that decision.
There's a chance. It's not
yeah.
It's a collaborative decision. It's Aaron Rodgers' decision, though. I think in a perfect world, Saleh wouldn't play him, as evidenced by the fact that he pulled him today for concerns with the weather. Weather didn't affect Garrett Wilson, by the way. My God, was he good. More on that in a second. But I think he's going to play against the Giants. I do. And I have no issue with that. I'm not going to live my life in fear over he might get hurt in the preseason game. You know, like if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. Then we as Jet fans, we fold the franchise and we move on with our lives because I can't do it anymore. All right? But I'm not living my life scared. The worst has already happened. That's it. You can't hurt me any worse than I was hurt on September 11th last year. So if he needs to play, he should play. That's how I look at it. And as far as today, I'll say it again. I had no issue with Saleh pulling Aaron. I can tell you Aaron looked pissed, though. He did not look happy standing there in the monsoon not playing. But it was the right move. And can you blame Saleh? That's his meal ticket. If Aaron goes down again, Saleh's out of a job in all likelihood because they're not going to win. As good as Tyrod is as a backup, he's still probably best case scenario, the 20th to 25th in that range, best starter in the NFL. I don't know if you can make the playoffs with that in the AFC. Maybe. This team certainly, I think, is good enough as long as they don't suffer other injuries around that. But Aaron's here to elevate this team. So he's the meal ticket. You got to take care of him. And the other thing I would say, too, is when it comes to like this coaching staff, I think what they did today was they allowed Rodgers to call plays for one of the 2-minute drives that Andrew Peasley was out there running with the second team. I posted a photo on my Twitter account of Rodgers on the walkie-talkie. I think as a way to maybe give Aaron something to do because he was so pissed they didn't let him practice. I think they said, hey, we'll let you be Hackett for a drive. Go call the plays. And if you want to know something, at this joint practice today, you want to know what stood out? That was the only drive during the 2-minute period that the Jet offense actually scored points. Tyrod got one drive. They got one first down. They stalled out. Peasley then came in. And all they could muster was a field goal that Austin Seibert, not Greg Zuerlein, attempted. And if you are wondering about Zuerlein, why he didn't kick today, I checked in with someone who would know. Let's just say maybe they were trying to showcase Austin Seibert to get him a job around the league because Greg Zuerlein is obviously the Jet kicker no matter what. But I'll leave it at that. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you're just tuning in, you might be saying, wait a second. I thought I was watching a Thomas Morstead interview. Well, you missed it. He came on for the first 15 minutes of the show. So rewind if you're looking for the Morstead interview. We are seeking channel memberships. Last I checked, we were just 34 away from adding the G5 emoji in honor of Garrett Wilson lighting up the Washington commies today for all of us to enjoy. And ladies and gentlemen, I said that we were 34 away. That was before I realized Felix dropped a 20 spot for the people. 20 channel memberships.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
Oh, here we go. Thank you, Felix. You are the man, my friend. You are the man. Please message me your info so I can send you some merch. Renifi Ramirez, Kenneth Klager, Sir Moist, Knicks Nation, Zach Asman. Any relation to Jake Asman? Sodak Jets, Cassandra Future, Joey Hauser, AR Zone S, Molly Mel, K9 Cohen, New York Jets Smoking Lounge, Caleb Bryan, Ross Kate, Gary Johnson, Danny, Old School, Sean Eldris, Chris Grant, Adre Driscoll. You are all channel members. Felix, what else can I say, man? Tip my cap. You are truly one of one. We are that much closer to the G5 emoji going live for all the Asmaniacs. And let me say this, too, about Garrett Wilson, right? And I talked about this on the first show. What a dude, man. Signed for every kid in the rain when everyone else went inside. And not that I'm a celebrity or I'm a notable person, but, I met Garrett Wilson last year at the Knicks opener in the ESPN suite. And, I wouldn't say that we were hanging out, but, I sat next to the guy for 2 hours at a Knicks game. We were talking throughout without any hesitation. He saw my face and he said, Jake, what's up, man? Good to see you. Remembered me right away. So not saying that means I'm someone because I'm not. I'm just a Jet fan. But like the fact that he remembered that quickly, I was like, damn, man, this guy's a real deal. Superstar. So I can't wait till we get this emoji added because that guy is awesome. All right, Gusbuster Hotline is open. I'm going to someone that I think was there today and was spotted by fellow Asmaniacs. One of our arch nemesis. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ's on the line. Hello, JJ.
Yo, what's going on?
JJ?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Oh, God.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, perfect. I'm a little disappointed in you because I wanted you to let me on a little bit earlier today because I wanted to talk to Andrew because something weird happened at practice that it was minor, but it was a little weird. Did you notice that they lined Breland Allen out like as a wideout a couple of times? Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because I don't feel like that was something that we seen him do in college. And if anything, I would want to see them do that with Brees. They didn't do it at all with Brees, but they were doing it with Allen. That kind of threw me off a little bit.
So I don't know if they did it today with Brees. I mean, there was one moment they lined about that I remember watching Brees. They did it a lot in the scrimmage, though. Brees, I mean, they're using Brees all over. I think what they're doing is, you know, they're adding more to Braylon Allen's plate. He's the backup for Brees Hall, right? So Brees suffers an injury. Braylon Allen's got to know all the plays that are normally called for Brees. So I think they're just kind of ramping him up as they go through training camp.
Yeah, but if Brees Hall gets hurt and Braylon Allen becomes the number one, I don't want to see him lined up at wide receiver. Just stick him in the backfield. I thought Isaiah Davis had a really good practice today. He looked a little bit better than Braylon Allen, albeit it was just one practice, but he looked really sharp today. He had like a 30-yard run. I was there getting soaked. The only negative take. Say again?
I heard you got recognized. Tell us about that experience.
I mean, the guy seen me. He was like, "Hey, JJ, what's up?" I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" We spoke for a little bit. We took a picture. I told him to make sure he lets everyone know I'm not a mean guy, because everyone thinks I'm this mean, grumpy old man all the time. And it was pretty cool.
And then I heard you said, fire the coach, fire the GM. Let's get it over with now.
Actually, I didn't say that. So I was this morning when I woke up, I was like, you know, should I go? Should I not go? Because it's raining. But I was like, it's just rain. What the hell? I played college football, and we used to have to practice in the rain. And sometimes we had two fields. We had a grass field and we had a turf field. And every once in a while, to punish us, they would put us on the grass field. And it was the worst, because if it starts raining, it's like a mud war. I say that to say that this morning when I woke up, I was like, it's just some rain, whatever, I'll just go anyway. So I get out there, I'm getting soaked, and then these fans are talking, and they're like, hey, I don't see Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Aaron Rodgers ain't out there. And then they found out that he wasn't practicing today, and it actually really pissed me off, because I'm like, it's rain. Like, what are we doing? It's just rain. I get it, though. You know, we're erring on the side of caution. But with that same logic, if that's the case, Garrett Wilson shouldn't have practiced, because, I mean, if something happens to Garrett Wilson, oh, my God, our wide receiver group, I mean, Mike Williams needs to get on the field as fast as possible.
Well, Alan Lazard today, he just didn't do team drills yet. They're ramping him up.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, I want to see him practicing with the team, because Alan Lazard, in that last 2-minute drill, when Tyrod Taylor for some reason went to him 3 times and he was only able to catch the ball once, and it wasn't even the greatest coverage. Like, it was pretty good coverage, but it wasn't like he just gets no separation. And like, it's funny because Garrett Wilson had a hell of a day today, but I mean, there was nobody else to really throw it to. Malachi Corley, he dropped a touchdown in the red zone. He made up with it with another play later on in the day, but I can't wait to see him like start getting it going, because Garrett Wilson needs some help out there. Last point that I want to make. So overall, though, I did think it was a really good practice, and you made this point earlier. It's super exciting to see Tyrod Taylor just understand all I got to do is get the ball to Garrett Wilson, because that's something that Zach Wilson just couldn't figure out for the life of him. But the one negative from the whole practice was, I don't know if you saw the 101s. Our O-line was getting destroyed by their defensive line in the 101s. I think the only person I saw that had like a really good rep was John Simpson, but everybody else, like Tipman, was getting thrown around. I think I saw how do you say his last name? Schweitzer?
Wes Schweitzer.
He got beat so bad that it was like embarrassing to watch. So I'm really confident in our number ones, but if anybody goes down, oh my Lord.
Well, they have a good D line, though, to be fair. I mean, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, you know, I mean, but on the with your point with the O line, the Tyron Smith, John Simpson combo block to set up that Brees touchdown in the red zone was excellent.
Yeah, it was really good. But that's good, because those are our starters and they show that they can get it done. But I mean,
good today too.
We're going to be playing some pretty good. Some week 1, we have a really good D line that we're going up against. So I'm just hoping that, you know, hopefully it was just a one-off thing with those backup guys, and more so, you know, let's hope that they don't even see the field. Let's hope our starters stay healthy. But they were getting ragdolled over there. I was like right in front of them. That was the only negative takeaway. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty good practice, especially being that we were in the rain. I didn't see any fumbles, no interceptions on our side. So Tyrod looked good. So, you know, hopefully we don't have to see Tyrod play. But if he does play, I mean, he looked good. So
yeah, JJ, all things considered, not a bad call. Your internet wasn't bad. You actually had some good points. This was good. I feel like we could build on this.
This is me every time I call in, but you know, I just have high expectations for this team.
Are you coming to my event next week, JJ? The people want to know. Are you showing your face at T Squared Social next Saturday night?
It's 50-50 as of now. You know what's funny? I was actually gonna come last night, but I coach youth football and we got out a little bit late. And then it's weird because I live in Jersey, but that place that you guys were at was pretty far from my house. Even Florham Park, I live in Jersey and it takes me almost an hour to get to Florham Park. It's crazy.
Yeah, Jersey's
So
weird.
far.
You guys don't make left turns. You don't pump your own gas.
No,
You guys are weird.
Yeah. Queens though. I'm from Queens, so I'm still a New Yorker at heart.
I love it. JJ, great call. Hope to see you next week.
We'll see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, JJ, everyone's favorite curmudgeon. His points though, not all bad. And I'll say it again, like I'd rather them be careful with Aaron than not, for obvious reasons. It's not the worst thing in the world for Tyrod Taylor to get reps with the entire complement of weapons that are available to him right now. Right, obviously Mike Williams is practicing, but he didn't do team drills yet. It was his first practice as a Jet. They're ramping him up. And then he had the full complement of the offensive line, and they look good, man. All right, I mentioned Garrett Wilson. The Jets released some footage of G-Dub and some of the catches that we've been referencing on this stream and obviously the first stream where we recapped, everything that happened here. And like, just watch it. You'll see, like, this was right away in the red zone. Cooked 13. Like, 13 is going to have to find a new job soon. Garrett Wilson toasted him. This guy was a first-round pick a year ago, Emmanuel Forbes. Just watch this. And these are great throws by Tyrod, by the way. This was the catch that you're like, holy crap. This was the first of two bombs down the sideline. Tyrod throws an unbelievable deep ball. He's one of the best in the league at that. Seriously. Sliding catch in the reins, a little slip and slide. Here we go. This was the play that we showed earlier where Garrett caught it one hand. You got to watch this play from the angle I was at in the tent up there to really appreciate it. Hold on. Watch this. Right here. Ready? Cooks him. Boom. But you can't tell from this angle. 13 is holding his left arm. Garrett hauled this in, and we can see it because, once again, like, thanks to Richie from Jets Media for the VIP pass today. Actually, sorry. I was a guest of Richard Malera, not Richie. Anyway, thanks to Richard, I was watching from the tent up there, right? You can't tell from this angle. Garrett one-handed this. He caught it with one arm and then tracked it into his pad to secure it. It was ridiculous. I mean, he was the best player on the field today. And then was the last player on the field today signing autographs for all the kids, which is awesome. So shout out to Garrett. One of one. Speaking of Garrett Wilson, our next emoji is going to be the G5 emoji. And folks, thanks to the awesomeness of who else but Felix Campos, we're going to hit it, baby. How about a 10 spot from Felix? Let's go.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
Here we go, baby. I mean, who's got it better than Felix Campos right now? Azuma 76, ex-Powers boy, Javo Villasana, Kaif Committee, Devin Sarno, Tom Stafford, Edsdale Daly, Joe Fliz, Ronnie D, Real Talk. You are all channel members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's go. Let's get that G5 emoji added. I will do that in just a bit. Get back to your calls here shortly. But first, we say happy birthday to Dane and Mike D's Nuts. We knew it was Mike D's Nuts' birthday. I did not know it was Dane's birthday. So, Daniel Murphy, thanks for letting me know. And happy birthday to both. Cold Stone checks in. You got to remember that all of Isaiah's good were against the twos. Allen was primarily running with the ones. Correct. I still thought Davis was impressive today, though. He looked good. And I don't want to say who told me this, but a source close to the Jet organization told me that the coaching staff has been impressed with both their running backs they drafted. So they like both guys. Davis had a nice kick return today when they did the kickoff return period. All right, more of your calls. This guy came to the event last night. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's still at the facility in Florham Park, it looks like, in the rain. Could it be? The great John LG is on the line. What's up, John?
Hey, I had to break down and make my first call. Last night's meetup was amazing. and followed up by today's practice, just fantastic. Jet fans are just different. We got to that meetup, and it was like you knew everybody for years because we had so many shared experiences over the years of different Jet games. We just kept talking about Jets. And I can't believe you still have a voice, Jake.
Hey,
you were doing that Jets spit over and over.
I'll tell you what, John. It was awesome that you came out. I'm glad you're calling in, but I mean, this is what I do, man. I mean, we go nonstop. I mean, I met Charles Gorman last night.
We're here with Charles Gorman. Charles, you're about to get into your Uber, which I called for you specifically to leave Don Jose Mexican restaurant. Give us the breakdown on the night. Did you have fun?
I had a good time. People were very nice. The food is good. I'm sorry I couldn't stay for long. My parents wanted me to be home at a certain time. I know I'm a grown-ass man, but their house, their rules. If you guys want to, do something like this, I'll try to come to it. Anyways, have a good day and stay healthy and God bless.
Charles, thank you for the time.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, there he goes. Charles Gorman, everybody. One of one. A legend of our time. Go Jets.
Go Jets.
God bless America.
God bless America.
What a moment, John. What a moment.
Charles was great. He came around to all the tables, talked to everybody. What a nice kid. Nice guy. And what do you call JJ? I don't know how he got wet. I mean, there was so many places to get out of the rain. What was he doing?
This is probably why his phone is often broken too. He just doesn't know how to keep himself dry apparently, and it affects everything.
Yeah, I had a great time, and then thank you very much for everything. If I didn't thank you last night, I'll thank you again. The food was fantastic. The beers were flowing, and just great people. Can't wait for next Saturday.
John, can't wait, man. Thank you again for coming. And you got to become a regular caller now, right? I mean, this was a great first call out of you. I mean, you've been sitting outside for hours waiting to make it.
I had something to say this time. Thank you very much, Jake. Take care.
John LG, check it in. Longtime Jet fan. Awesome dude. Glad he could come to the event last night. Don't worry. I know a lot of people had FOMO, right? We got another one coming up. All right. First of many watch parties this season, folks. This first one's going to be an all-timer. It's a Saturday night in New York City. Need I say more? Free admission. Party starts at 6:30. Games at 7. Jets football. The amount of Jet chants that are going to take place throughout the night. I mean, what's the over-under at? What's the line set at? It's all happening. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. Buckle up.
B-Mac. Look at my TV. B-Mac. I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets. Go Jets.
Hey, Jake.
Hey,
good
B-Mac.
to see you. I'm glad you had fun last night. Today.
Thank you.
And I think sitting Rodgers was a good move. Jordan Love got a little bit banged up today at practice as well. So that's give some Packer fans and Packer land. So
what happened to Love? I missed that.
I guess someone ran into him. I guess he hurt his leg or something like that. He was walking gingerly. It said it's minor, so it shouldn't be serious. But
would you donate your leg for Jordan Love?
Yeah, I mean, we need him to be healthy. You know what I mean? It's like we need ARA to be healthy. I mean, you know what I mean? So if his leg is, it's not responsible to say, yeah, I cut my leg, I could give to his. You know what I mean? So, I would have cut my Achilles and gave it to Rodgers last year, and if he would, come back and play. So, yeah.
Where's the Law and Order, B-Mac? I mean, we can't give you an intro that features the Law and Order theme and that you don't have it on.
I just got home, so I haven't got something yet to put my TV on. But yeah, I will have it on. and yes, it will be going. Oh,
I love it.
B-Mac. Hey, you hater guy. Allen sucks and JJ can kiss my ass before I wipe.
JJ was on earlier, B-Mac, and I don't know if you caught that part if you just walked in. Comments, questions, super chats, we'll cut the line. Folks, we have the best listeners. Truly mean that. An honor to meet so many of you yesterday, today. Here was a cool moment for me. So I told you guys I sat next to Salah's brother at practice today. David Salah, shout out to him. Awesome dude. And I don't think he realized how big the show is because I kept getting stopped by listeners to say hello. And then it hit him like, what we do here is pretty big. So you guys are the best. Chris M checks in with an Asmaniac super chat. USA, Curry, LeBron, and Embiid, next stop gold. I didn't get to see any of this game because I was working during it, but I cannot believe we almost lost. But good job by Team USA to not lose. Look, if people think Team USA is just going to win every game by a lot, I mean, the world is really good at basketball now. The best player in the Olympics is on Serbia and Jokic. So, people say, oh, the dream team, the best team ever. It's like, yeah, they, like at that time they were, but how many NBA players do the dream team face in the Olympics? Kukoc, and that's probably it. Now, like, look at the rest of the world. There's some great players everywhere. So the U.S. should still win, and I would still pick them to beat France and win, but it's not as easy as it once was. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us right now from what appears to be a beach is Weed the People. Hello, Weed.
What's up, Jake?
Hey, Weed.
Gary and the big fella that finally made up,
I'm glad. Gary looks like he or she is getting color there.
A little bit of a tan, a little bit. He forgot his sunscreen when he went out there, so.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? How you doing, Jake? How was practice?
Let me ask you something, Weed. Do you think big fella would wear that to the beach?
If he knew it would piss off Greg, he would. I would if I knew it would be small.
Practice was good, Weed. It was tough to stay dry at times, but I got to chop it up with two guys who should be Jets for life afterwards. So it was all worth it.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I wish I could have made it. I wish I could have made it last night too.
Are you coming on Saturday, Weed? I mean, the people want to know, is Weed the People coming to T-Squared Social?
I was trying, dude. I just can't get off right this second for that. I'm working on all my off days for the season.
Here's what we'll have you do. Call the Bobby Midnight program that night, and we're going to air the Bobby show on one of the TVs. So you'll be there in spirit.
That I will do.
All right.
Absolutely. And I will have Weed with me.
Weed? I would hope so.
Absolutely. I'll have my dog too because I know Bobby loves him.
Oh, yeah. Bobby loves all animals.
He does. He loves me.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Weed, we all love you.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Jake.
Well, Weed, you have a hell of a Thursday night, all right?
See you later, Jake.
All right. Thank you, Weed. Ladies and gentlemen, Weed the People. Bravo. Open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. Comments, questions, super chats, always cut the line on this show. Chris writes in, Thomas Morstead seems like a good guy. Hope you get your fewest snaps of your career respectfully. LOL. Amen. For those who are tuning in for the Thomas Morstead interview, rewind to the first 15 minutes of the program. Spoke with Thomas earlier today. Aired that interview at the beginning of the show. Morstead joined us live from the Jet locker room. It was funny because we were talking off air before I hit record. And I go, I love that you're in the locker room. This is cool. He's like, yeah, man. Hopefully no one comes in with their cheeks exposed. I go, well, the good news is, Thomas, we're pre-recording it, so we can edit that out. So he was cool. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. The math's not mathing. Right? 147 people watching live. Only 114 likes. What am I missing? JJ saw the BMAC open. BMAC TV. LMFAO. That's classic. Jesus Jerry says, Jake, come to Australia. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there, Jesus. Can't wait. Rodgers says, I would donate my chicken nuggets for Carly. That is the kind of guy I am. You seem like a good guy, Roger. Mark writes in, unfortunately, I'm not able to be there Saturday. I live in the Philippines now. Let's go Jets. You're not going to be there on Saturday? Book a flight from the Philippines, and we demand you to be there. All right? Just like this next caller. He's flying in from Australia to come to this meetup. Craig's up next. Hello, Craig.
You got me again with a coffee. How are you, mate?
Hey, what time's your flight? I know you're surprising everyone. Cat's out of the bag. You're coming to T Squared, eh?
Oh, mate, look, I'm at the reception of your hotel right now. Let me up. Come on. Let's have a drink. Hey, congratulations on, getting Thomas on again. That's actually, that's a big thing, him coming on. The real question is, do you say to him on the side, hey, Thomas, any chance you can have a word with Aaron? And, surely you're asking him. Tell me you are. Please tell me.
You know what? I don't want to put him on the spot, but
I know you don't want to push him. I get it.
I feel good about eventually one day being able to get Aaron on the show at some point. I'll leave it at that.
I think the trajectory is in that direction. And I think the other thing we can do is message me before next time and get me on with Thomas. I'll convince him. I'm a salesperson. That's what I do. We can play good cop, bad cop. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. All right. I'm just a random caller, so I think we can do that. But anyway, man, it's all good. As you can see, it's bright and sunny in Adelaide this morning. It is 48 degrees and it is calm. It is absolutely beautiful.
You look great, Craig. Is that a scarf you're rocking? That looks tremendous.
Mate, this is Louis. What else would it be? It has to be. So it was a gift from the beautiful Mrs. Craig. So I'm very, she looks after me, dresses me mostly.
Mrs. Craig is going to like some of the female line that we're at in the 4% line to the merch store tomorrow. Well, I guess I don't know what time 9 a.m. our time is for you, but at some point during your day.
10:30 p.m.
All right, so tonight for you, 10:30 p.m. Check jakeasman.com and you will see the 4% line being revealed.
We can do that. We're out for dinner tonight for my daughter's 21st at one of our best steak restaurants, so we'll be home just in time. And I think we can jump on and do that. So I'll be looking forward to it. And as for Rodgers and when he plays and doesn't play, let's just do what we did last year. He can do a couple of drives in the last of the practice game. If he's going to go down, let's get it over with now, can we? Like as soon as possible. Like if this is our life, if this is what is going to happen to us as Jets fans, can we get it over as soon as possible? In other words, I'm not worried. I'm the same as you. I'm not afraid. The big pain that we were forced to have, it's happened. This is what I really think. So let's get him going, man. I want to see him, and let's get this season started.
I'll tell you why I feel good about the Jets having a great year. Last year, I didn't have my lucky boomerang in my hand, and this year I do. So I want to bring this with me everywhere I go.
You should be able to get that into MetLife. It's small enough to fit into one of those plastic see-through bags, which, by the way, it's the only place I've ever been to where that's a thing. But that's not a weapon. If you throw it, it'll come back. So it shouldn't be a problem, right?
What do you think the value would be on an Aaron Rodgers signed boomerang?
Okay. We have to find out. That's the only way. Something's only worth what someone's prepared to pay for it. So let's get it. Maybe Thomas can help. Again, I don't know. If you're at practice, hang it out there. He'd notice it, and he would say, "Hang on, that's something that I don't see boomerangs at practice very often. I should sign that."
I think we're onto something, Craig. I think we got something.
I like it. Well, I better do some work, mate. You take care. And everyone who's watching, join Patreon, get on the Discord, subscribe. I've got all my kids and all their friends to sub. Everyone, everyone can do this. It's a small thing you can do to support our man. All right.
Craig, you're the best. Happy birthday to your daughter, by the way.
Legend, mate. Take care.
Love it. Have a great time. Craig in Australia checking in. That's the best. Look, Craig is a handsome guy. We all understand. But that is the best we've seen Craig look maybe ever. I mean, that scarf, the jacket, that's a guy who should be on the cover of like GQ. I'm calling a Jet YouTube show. Maybe he's doing both. I don't know. Craig mentioned the Patreon. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can support me there. Get access to the show in ways you never could have imagined. Bonus shows, early released episodes. If you're on Patreon, you got the Morstead interview 3 hours ago. Right after I was done recording it, I uploaded it. You also get access to the Discord, which gives you a portal into future meetups, connecting with your fellow Asmaniacs, info about when I'm on the radio before the general public, announcements before the general public, such as Fireman Ed being a weekly every Friday during the football season. That and much more. And also, the best perk I think of all, as we continue to add more and more merch to the Jake Asman merch store, you get 15% off every item included with your membership, including the shorts, slides, sandals, doggy bandana, women's line of clothes, new hoodies, new shirts that we're releasing tomorrow. How about it? R&R says Jake is like Carrot Top with the props. Hell yeah. Let me tell you something. I got to interview Carrot Top this year at the Super Bowl at Radio Row. He was awesome. What a nice guy. And I made Carrot Top laugh. All right. I'm not funny. I'm not a comedian. Maybe funny looking. Ha, ha, ha. I'll make that joke for you. But I said to Carrot Top, I go, on behalf of the redheaded community, I just want to thank you for representing us the right way. And he laughed. He goes, that's good. I'm like, thank you, Carrot Top. Or, sorry, I said, thank you, Mr. Top. Anyway, JJ writes in, who all is going to the game Saturday? WTF, it's at 12. People have lives. Why this game is at 12 is beyond me. If you put it at 3, I might consider going because I could tailgate. 12 is like, I don't know. I did get offered tickets to give away to listeners. So if anyone needs tickets, preferably someone who wants to take a kid to maybe their first game. All right, a listener of mine who came to the meetup last night, Tony. He reached out. He's got tickets and parking in section 221A. Got 4 tickets. So if you need all 4, let me know. If you need 2, let me know. Maybe we could get tickets to 2 people, 2 separate listeners to take maybe a young kid who's never been to a game before. So we'll try and do that. So if you need any tickets, Jet fans, for that, let me know. Duncan says, I will be there Saturday. Lots open at 7 a.m. for tailgating. Where are you tailgating, Duncan? If Tyrod starts, I'd be more compelled to maybe wanting to go, as sick as that is. If you tell me Tyrod's not playing and it's Andrew Peasley, I've watched enough Peasley at camp this summer. I'm good. Even if Jordan Travis was healthy, I think it'd be intriguing because it's like future. You know, at least it'd give you something to like, hey, maybe. You know, I watched Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty play in the preseason. Yeah, I could watch Andrew Peasley, but doesn't mean I have to do it in person. Comments, questions, super chats. Will cut the line. A lot of people are wondering, when will Charles Gorman call into the show again? And the answer is, I don't know. I hope soon, though. I'd love to hear more about his experience. Peter says, Jake, I agree with Salah pulling Rodgers today. He's getting better. I being there, Peter, at first I was like bummed. And then as the rain got worse and we remember what's happened with Tippmann, even though Tippmann was fine today, I get it. Right? You're playing a different team. Everyone's going to be juiced up. They're hitting people for the first time. That's not their own teammate. You know, Washington does have some good defensive linemen. I think it was the right choice. I do. I know Rodgers was pissed, but, you know, you're playing the long game here. He'll be out there on Monday. Like, as the Jets have a walkthrough tomorrow, game Saturday, off day Sunday, back on the field Monday, joint practice on Thursday, I think, next week against Carolina. He'll be out there for that. So I'm with you, Peter. I had no problem with it. Dano says, is there a second stringer that you think should not play Saturday whatsoever? It's a good question. I don't know if there's one that's obvious here. Let me think. I mean, Olu's a second stringer, but I think he should play. He should get his reps in. No, I think every second stringer should play. I do. I mean, Lazard is technically a starter still, so I wouldn't play him. Dean says, how did Tippmann fare with the snaps? He was good today. There were no issues, which is a nice sign. It is a nice sign. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in. If you attended the meetup last night, you cut the line, you go first. I want to hear all about it. In this picture alone, on the first show today. Nick called in. Snowball called in. Who else is here? Jay Graves didn't call in. Paul called in earlier. Tony S was in the chat. 99 Jet was in the chat. He didn't call in. This is not even everyone who was there last night, too. That's the thing. But anyway, it was a great turnout. Thank you again to everyone who came out. Special thank you to Jose and his staff at Don Jose Mexican Restaurant for the hospitality. They were great. Rex Ryan's signature right on the wall. Pretty cool. More of your calls right now. We haven't heard from this guy in a while. He used to be a regular back in the day, and then he started the big time us. Ladies and gentlemen, Evan's on the line. What's up, Evan?
Jake, that kind of breaks my heart the way you said that. You know, I guess you're right. I used to call in more often. My life's getting crazy though, so it is what it is, I guess.
It's all good, Evan. I just want you to know I miss you though. You're a phenomenal caller.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I got to make an effort to call in a bit more. I think with the season starting, I'll ramp it back up. But I wanted to. Well, first off, I heard you and Matt talking, and Fun Zone, that commercial. Any guy that grew up on Long Island that's our age, that thing is like burned into our psyche, man. I can say it line for line, by the way, but that's step one. And step two, man, I'm looking at Tyrod Taylor, and you know, I try not to look back too much in last year and all that, but I'm watching him play, and I'm thinking, man, if we had this guy last year, could we have made the playoffs? I don't want to be whatever, but we haven't made the playoffs in 12 years. I know, we're probably not winning the Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor, but that's worth something. It would be good to have that monkey off our back and had at least a fun season last year. We, salvage it somewhat, but gets me a little angry, but wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, Tyrod's also got a history of injuries, and he got hurt last year when he had to become the starter once Daniel Jones was done for the year. So, if you guaranteed me health, I think they were 10-7 with Tyrod last year. Honestly, maybe better than that. I was talking about that with Salah's brother today, just how many times they lost games where the defense allowed 15 or less points. And, it was, agonizing to relive it with him. But, we were talking about it, how, it seems pretty good, and now they have legit quarterback play and a legit backup quarterback.
Yeah, and look, for whatever it's worth, we got a better draft pick. We have Olu now, and I think Olu could be a guy for a long, long time. So, you could always look back and say, what if, but we are where we are now, and I think the team's great, man. I'm so excited. One other point, and this is not Jet related, but I heard you say Jalen Brunson is more beloved in New York than Aaron Judge. And I want to push back on that, man. I don't know about that. I think 2 MVP awards, undeniably the best hitter in baseball. And I get your point of there's really one solidified basketball team, even though I'm a Nets fan. There is one big one in New York, but baseball's regional. I think there's if you grew up in New York, you're either a Mets or Yankee fan, but there's plenty of guys that grew up in New York that are Laker fans or Heat fans, or they're just LeBron guys. They just follow one player no matter where he goes. Basketball's a little more national, a little more front runnery than baseball is. So I don't know, man. I'd push back. I think Judge is more loved than Bronson at this point.
I think the Knicks are the most beloved team though, because of the fact that they're the ones. I know you're a Net fan, but you guys represent 10% of the tri-state, if I'm being nice. So I just think it's different, man. And I love Aaron Judge, but Brunson solved the problem the Knicks have had for 20 years. He's the point guard. He's also the superstar that this team's been searching for forever. So I think it's different.
Do you think what would be a better parade, the Jets or the Knicks?
Honestly, there's more Knicks fans, but I would say the Jet fan might be crazier than the Knicks fan.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And I guess, again, I'm biased because I'm actually a Jet fan, but I think there's a weird starvation. Not weird, but it's granted, right? We've been long suffering. Some of the Knicks, but there's just something about football. And football's also king in America. You can't really deny that. So, yeah, I think there's something about the Jets winning here that would just be, it'd be nuts. But,
yeah, because good call, Evan. Good to hear from you. It's been a while for the Knicks, obviously, but the Knicks went to the finals with Ewing twice. Patrick was hurt for the second one, but still, the Jets haven't been back to the Super Bowl since Namath. Both would be insane. I'll take either one, believe me. If I had a preference, it obviously would be the Jets, but I mean, I'm in no position. I've seen one championship that I could truly like say like is one of mine. You know, I can't really count the late 90s Yankees. Remember it, but like I wasn't living and dying like I am now with all my teams. So, I mean, it's both would be insane. But Jet fans are a different breed, man. They really are. This fan base deserves greatness. And I think we're going to get a hell of a year. The more I watch this team in person, the more I think, damn, they're good. The funniest was Garrett Wilson off the field today. I was standing next to Richie, a.k.a. Everyone should start calling Richie Richard now and see if he gets where that came from. I was a guest of Richard Malera today. And Richie asked Garrett for like a message to the fans. And Garrett's like, yeah, great day. Shout out to the fans. During practice, we beat their ass or something like that. I was dying. And I was thinking to myself, you beat their ass. Everyone else had moments too, but Garrett Wilson was kicking everyone's ass today, man. They couldn't cover him. He was unguardable. And look, I hate the dunk on Zach Wilson. He's gone. But this is what just killed me, man. This is why Garrett was so pissed. Because like Tyrod Taylor, he's not a great quarterback. He's solid. He's a high-end backup, low-end starter. He could throw the ball to 5 because he's not an idiot and knows Garrett's open. And just like watching Zach Wilson not be able to find ways to get a guy who's always open the ball is like mind-boggling, man. It really is. Speaking of which, I think it's time we upload the Garrett Wilson emoji. All right. GW5, we're listing it as. Let's add it right now. We hit the membership threshold. This was made by the great Snowball. So let's see if I can add this. GW5 will be the call-in name for the emoji. Oh, I think Garrett said they were busting asses. I think Dano is right in the comments here. Whatever he said, I was dying. It was so funny. He's like, we busted their ass. I'm like, no, you did. Garrett's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to say the G5 emoji is live for the Asmaniacs to use if you're an official channel member here on YouTube. Let's go. Let's go. Boomtown, the first to use the new emoji. Congrats to Boomtown. Let's go. Oh, what a day, folks. What a day. What a time. That is Gaming says, we need a Gary breakdown on Brock Bowers every week. Do we? Are you sure?
Did somebody say Brock Bowers?
I don't know if we do. I don't know that. Dano says, how high would you take Garrett Wilson in fantasy? I mean, if it was up to me, I would probably take Brees and Garrett in back-to-back picks. If I could. Garrett should go in the first round, though. I don't know. I haven't done enough fantasy prep yet to know. I'm just trying to get through next week where I have to go to a Met game as Pat the Patriot in full costume to pay off my loser punishment. Once I get through that, then I'll be able to flush fantasy from last year and focus on this year. But man. Crazy. You know what's great? Rick Kent is now using his own emoji. There was a time when Rick Kent said, I don't want my own emoji. But now he's embraced it. They're both first-round picks, I'll tell you that much. Shadowram says, I'm taking GW at 7 in a 12-man league. You should. Is this Giants game on TV anywhere? I got to figure out how to put it on. All right. Last chance to get in here before we wrap up the show. We'll be back tomorrow with 2 programs, including a Boy Green afternoon extravaganza. Boy Green's going to come on the show, and the chat's going to do this.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is someone who needs no introduction. We referenced him earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary at 3D Boxing. Good evening, Gary.
Hello, Jake. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. I told Garrett Wilson that you love him, and you said you made a great decision not going to Texas and going to Ohio State instead.
This is becoming the Garrett Wilson standboy hour. This Jake Asman show, we can rename it the Garrett Wilson standboy hour.
Yeah, you know, he's pretty good. And
he's pretty good. I agree.
To Jet his entire career.
He has no loyalty, so that may be an issue. He'll probably up and leave for Ohio. But there's a couple of things I don't understand. First is, like, I'm not a fantasy football guy. Like, I've played fantasy football in the past.
How'd you do?
I mean, this is probably 15 years ago. I mean,
okay.
I don't really remember, like, college, and then, like, a few years out of college and stuff, I played fantasy football. But, like, why are we talking about where we? It's the same thing like with the Madden ratings. Like, why do we care where these guys are taking? Like, what does it behoove you if Breece Hall? I mean, Breece Hall you want on your team because he's a great player, but like, why does it matter if you have more Jets on your team? I honestly don't understand. Like,
it doesn't. But if you're playing fantasy football and you could draft a Jet that could also help you be happy because you're a Jet fan and help your fantasy team, it's the double whammy.
Okay. So it's just wanting to have a player on your team, but I mean, okay. This is why maybe
if you play fantasy football and you're also a huge Jets fan, first off, the Jets haven't had over the last 15 years very many players you could draft that were actually good fantasy players because they always suck on offense. So fantasy is all about offensive players.
You can take Jets defense. You can take Jets defense.
Yeah, but even the defense is actually not great for fantasy because they don't get enough
sacks. Yeah.
You don't get enough sacks. You don't get enough turnovers because they're not ever built to play with a lead.
See, I understand how to play fantasy football. I just haven't done it in years. Like the same thing with Madden. This guy got an 82 rating, so don't use him. Like, I don't like. Why does that trigger people? I don't understand. Like, Breece Hall sort of got a 97 rating, and he got like, okay, then don't use Breece Hall in the video game.
It's a sign of respect
from the video game maker.
Yeah, I mean the Madden ratings represent how the nation feels about players, and Breece was incredibly underrated.
If they gave Zach Wilson 100, guess who I'm going to use every game if I play Madden? I'm going to use Zach Wilson because they gave him 100. Like, I mean,
that's not the point. If you're a Jet fan and you want to use the Jets in Madden, and you're being basically penalized for Madden being stupid and not knowing how good Breece is.
Okay, then Madden doesn't recognize how good Breece is. Like, who cares? Like, it's a video game.
A lot of people like Madden, Gary. A lot of people play the game. It's
use the players that they want you to use, right? If they tell you Zach Wilson,
want you to use any specific players. They're supposed to be objective and rank people how they're properly supposed to be evaluated.
I think you guys are putting way too much stock in the video game ranking, honestly.
I didn't even bring up Madden ratings. I don't know what you're talking about. People like video games, Gary. All right, people like to play.
Then they should play video games, right? And if you want to win, and they give Zach Wilson a 100 rating, you should use Zach Wilson. If they give Breece Hall a 32 rating, and you want to use Breece Hall and his 32 rating, use them. Like it's not reality. It's a video game, guys.
What you're saying doesn't make any sense.
How does it not make any sense? Do you want to win the video game?
You should be able to win the video game by playing with your favorite team and not having to play with a different team because they misjudged your current team.
Okay. All right. I mean,
other people care. Maybe you don't care, Gary, but this clearly matters to people because Madden's probably the most popular sports franchise of all time.
Ever. Probably. No, I say it definitely is. NHL 94, best sports video game ever. I know you're not old enough to remember that, but if you can go back, ask your dad. I'm sure your dad played NHL 94.
I played it before.
And that is the best video. And I'm not even a hockey guy. Like, I can't even watch a hockey, but NHL 94, best sports video game of all time.
You know who I saw today, Gary?
Who'd you say?
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
I can't with Gary. I don't have it in me. I'm good. Gary, you win this one. Congrats to you. You win the Madden rating debate. I don't have it in me. Enjoy the dub. I got to eat some pizza. I'm starving. I can't do this anymore. The only good take he had there was NHL 94 is awesome. He's right about that. Anyway, fun show. Thank you to Thomas Morstead who came on at the beginning. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the support. Once again, I can't say this enough. So great to be with so many of you last night in Jersey. We got our big meetup, first of its kind, at T-Squared next Saturday night, baby. Bring the energy. If you bought Asmaniac gear or Jake Asman Show merch, wear it to the meetup next week. And reminder, we got a summer drop coming to the store tomorrow at 9 a.m. New items in the store. If you want the doggy bandana for your pet, I recommend you buy it tomorrow because they are very limited. So we're encouraging people to buy it quickly. JakeAsman.com. Go right now. Stop what you're doing. You probably haven't even been to the website yet. You're hearing me say, Jake, what? I'm still getting people messaging me, how do I buy merch? Seriously. I'm like, are you blind? Are you deaf? I don't know. JakeAsman.com. That easy. My last name, my first name, my last name.com. Hit the shop button when you're there, and boom, it takes you right to the store. Thanks to everyone who bought merch. So cool meeting so many of you last night with your merch on. Arizona Jet with a super chat at the buzzer here. Gas station pizza greater than fantasy football. Classic Gary Cole. Classic Gary Cole. Mother effing chew. Would Gary eat gas station pizza with chicken? Chew, you got to take that up with Gary off air because I don't have it in me to talk to Gary anymore. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you all for the support. JETS, 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 Jets. And I conclude tonight's show by once again playing an interview that just people need to see. My one-on-one exclusive with Charles Eugene Gorman following last night's Asmaniac meetup in New Jersey.
We're here with Charles Gorman. Charles, you're about to get into your Uber, which I called for you specifically to leave Don Jose Mexican restaurant. Give us the breakdown on the night. Did you have fun?
I had a good time. People were very nice. The food is good. I'm sorry I couldn't stay for long. My parents wanted me to be home at a certain time. I know I'm a grown-ass man, but their house, their rules. I was just like, if you guys want to, do something like this, I'll try to come to it. Anyways, have a good day and stay healthy and God bless.
Charles, thank you for the time.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, there he goes. Charles Gorman, everybody. One of one. A legend of our time. Go Jets. God bless America.